Hello and welcome to day 13. Now, when I was just sitting down to just see what wants to come through and what wants to be shared today, it's funny because there is nothing and like so much so that I could not actually pinpoint like what wants to come through today. So I have no idea what's going to come through, what this transmission is going to be about. I just thought I'm just going to go live and see what is going to happen and what sort of the guidance is that I'm getting, what the transmission is. So if you're live and have any questions, just pop them into the chat and I will answer them. But one of the questions that I actually had recently is questions about what I call my morning sit, which is part of my morning routine. And this is just very simply a very unstructured time for me just to sit down. So in the mornings, I get up during the week at 5 o'clock. I don't do this on the weekends because I want to have a little bit of a lay-in. But during the week, I get up at 5 o'clock. I make a coffee. Yes, I know it's unhealthy to drink that on an empty stomach. Do some journaling. And then at about 5:30, I go into my little space in my workspace, sit down and just be. I just connect to my guides. I connect to my womb space, connect to my body, and just see what is sort of moving through me at that time, in that moment on that morning, rather than going like head first, like absolutely like 180 sure miles an hour, like from the get-go. And this is something that I chose for myself, for my own sanity. So once we've gotten into some sort of rhythm with Sophia's sleep, so her sleep has been really, I can't even say up and down, it's just been very much down. There was a point where I got up with her every single day at 3 o'clock in the morning because that's just when she woke up and she was ready for the day. And about, I want to say probably about a year ago, maybe a little bit longer, she started to get into a rhythm where she was sort of sleeping to like past 5 o'clock. I didn't want to get up before 5 o'clock because that was just ridiculous. And I started getting up at 5 because I said I want to do, number one, I want to have some time to myself because I don't have a long time. And number two, I want to work on my business. And my brain very much works very well in the morning. So I'm very creative in the morning. I get like lots of downloads, ideas of what I want to do and what I've got to say and all of that, which is why I tend to do these lives in the mornings as well when I can. So that's why I started getting up at 5. But I had to wait for her to like really sleep past 5 o'clock long enough as well. And it's only within like the last few months, I think, I started to like really have my morning sit in the way that I've got it, the way that I do it now, where I literally just about 5:30-ish, I take my coffee, take the monitor, the baby monitor, because we still got that, just sit down and just, as I say, just connect to my womb space, to my guides. I maybe meditate, I might do a womb journey. And I might just sit in absolute stillness and just almost wait. Because what I found as, especially a mother, but I mean, that I've always done this, to be fair, but I think it's even more highlighted since I've become a mother, is that I never stop. So I'm always on the go. I'm always doing something, always like got my phone, got something to do. So quite often in the mornings, I literally just sit and I just sit just like this. Might have my eyes closed, might have a hand on my womb space, one hand on my heart, and just be. Essentially, that is my morning sit. The other question that I had the other day as well is going more into like my guides and everything. And what I might do, I mean, let me know. Let me know in the comments actually if you're interested in like a journey to meet your guides, like a room journey to meet your guides, because I can definitely do that for you. And because I think that would be quite fun. But let me know if that's something that you want. But the way that I work with my guides personally is I just ask them essentially if they've got a message for me, if there's anything that I need to know, if there's something specific in my business that I'm struggling with, for example, if there's something that I can't quite, not necessarily decide, but it's not quite clear to me yet, I do ask them very specific questions to get to that clarity essentially, and get to that really point what I want to do and move forward. So sometimes that might be a piece of content that's just almost like randomly dropping into me, but I know that's something that my guides have like given me to move forward, just to move through me, just to share. And I think especially when you use your guides for your work, for your business, when you sort of work with them, a lot of times what the expectation is, like, especially if you get an idea for a piece of content, for example, is that piece of content performs like really, really well. And that's not the point. That's not the point why you like got the idea. It's just something that's moving through you, that wants to come out. And it's essentially a case of trusting that the right person will see this post. And like I can tell that I've just recorded a podcast yesterday about like running your solo business, because I talked about my guides as well in there, because this is where my brain is going at the moment. But there is like generally like, if the piece of content isn't performing, then it's like, oh, my guides are wrong, or I'm rubbish, or whatever, like the negative stuff, like the negative talk that comes into your mind. And it's just like a reminder. And I can, if working with your guides is something that you're interested in, I can do like a separate thing for that. I don't want to have these like too long. But I actually forgot where I was going to go with this. So that is a sign for my guides not to go there. So if you want to separate, if you're like interested in like working with your guides, like within your business, and just let me know. Let me know in the comments, and then I'll do a separate one for that. And as you can tell, like I'm very much like tuned in to what is coming through, and what wants to come through, and what doesn't want to come through. And it's quite often, even with my clients, or especially with my clients, I'm literally like talking, and it's just like, no. And I literally say like, no, forget what I just said. I say, this is not meant to come through right now. And I guess on social media or on YouTube, if you just essentially stop talking in that, like, and it looks like you lost your train of thought, which in my case, that is how it transpires. We fear that we don't look professional because we lost our thought of train, and we lost that sort of where we want to go, the point that we wanted to make, and that whoever listens or watches this, right, really wants to get the point. But the point in all of this is there is a reason why you lost that train of thought. You were not meant to go there. And it's a case of just trusting that and listening to that. I mean, I had this yesterday when I was recording the podcast. I was trying to make a point when had explained like a little bit of a side quest almost. While I was explaining that, I was like, I don't actually know why I started telling you this story. Kept telling it and then came round to it and say, oh yeah, this is why, and then brought it all back together. And sometimes it's just a case of just trusting what is coming through at any point. The same way as I trusted going live today with like no idea what to say at all. I'm like 11 minutes in nearly. And I've been talking the whole time. And that's, if you are running a business, this is exactly my point, I think, today. I think this is where we're landing on now with this transmission. It doesn't have to be perfect. In this whole like era of AI, there is, as in artificial intelligence, there is so much more to everything, like to running a business, to your content. And that is your ancient intelligence, which lives inside of you. And I keep talking about this. It's like that really like deep inner knowing, like this, like almost like ancient spirituality, like all of these things, like just, I'm just trying to look for the words that I'm trying to say. It's just really that knowing that this, whatever is coming through is almost coming from like so long ago. Like there is, you just know. And we've been overriding this like ancient intelligence within us with the artificial intelligence. So we stopped trusting ourselves, trusting what's coming through, trusting that gut feeling, what is called gut feeling, which is now in the business world is don't trust your gut feeling. It's just, or like your intuition. It's just, it's not, it's still, it's affected by your feelings, blah, 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 blah. So what? You're a human being, you feel. I don't see anything wrong with that. And yeah, I've recorded a whole podcast about like running like your soul-led business as a mother. And I actually think the next episode, so that one is coming out on Tuesday. I think the week after I might just do a whole episode about the ancient intelligence within us, because that's something that we so deeply have, the majority of us have forgotten. And I know even for myself, even though I know I've got it and I'm using it, I know I'm only scratching the surface. There's just still so much like deep work that needs to be done on that to really unleash like that inner wisdom, like that ancient wisdom inside. But yeah, so if nothing else comes from this life, I have got my next podcast episode, which is going to be, if you're, well, whether, I don't know which way I'm going to go yet, but definitely if you're running a business, you want to watch that, listen to that. I was going to say, you can't actually watch these. But if you want to know more about the podcast, it's actually on my YouTube channel. So it's called Of Silk and Soil. And new episodes come out every Tuesday. And yes. So after talking for nearly 50 minutes, so much to like having no plan of what to go live. And again, this is just a reminder, you don't have to have a plan. You just need to trust that things will come through. That's all you need to do. Because at the beginning of this life, I couldn't have told you that we were talking about all of these different things. So with that, happy Saturday, and I will see you tomorrow. Until then, bye.